Welcome back to another live feed on Shop Men's YouTube channel. Let's get into it, man. The countdown. Top 50 underrated rappers in hip hop history. Zoom with number 25, Pharaohe Monch from Organized Confusion. Those who don't know who this guy is about, man. He definitely represented lyrically underrated though from Queens, New York. He's one half of the duo of Organized Confusion, him and Prince Poe. 1991, they made their debut, self-titled Organized Confusion, and Pharaohe Monch had the lyrical ability with the intelligent vocabulary and metaphors. And the first album was a classic album. Songs like uh, Fudge Fudge, Walk Into the Sun. In 1994, they made the second album, Express the Extinction Agenda. The album was another classic from the group. The hits like Straight Bullet, Stress, Let's Organize, Bring It On. After two albums, Organized Confusion made one more album, Equinox. Then Pharaohe went solo and released Internal Affairs in 1999. The standout song was Simon Says, which is a hit. Overall, Pharaohe Monch will always be one of underground's hip hop distinctive voices, and he was that. You know what I'm saying? At the time he was doing his thing. Underground, you talking about an underground group. Organized Confusion is that group. They underground. They typically underground. They wasn't gonna sell a whole lot of records. There's a lot of groups back then that wasn't gonna sell a whole lot of records. Like Brand Nubian wasn't gonna do that. Gangstar, they're gonna stay true to who they were, to the roots of who they were. So Main Source, before they separated, it wasn't gonna sell a whole lot of records, but they stayed true to who they were. They stayed true. They did not compromise for record sales for appeal. And that's the thing that was going on at that time in the early '90s, man. Is that MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, people like that, they sold our records. Tone Loc, Young MC, you know what I'm saying? They were blowing up. So if you're an artist, if you want to make it big, you had to change up a little bit. Change the style a little bit. Change it up. To try to keep up with the Jones and sell records. That crossover stuff. Try to go pop. But you talk about Organized Confusion, Pharaohe Monch, and Prince Poe, they not just gonna do that. They were true to who they were. Underground. Truly an underground group. But Pharaohe Monch, definitely, as you see in the thumbnail, he was an underrated MC of the highest order. Stuff he did, this stuff, did a collaboration with Mos Def and Nate Dogg, rest in peace, Nate Dogg, called Oh No. That was off the Lyricist Lounge album. It's like a compilation album. That was an interesting collaboration, but that was good. That was a good collaboration between those three gentlemen. But that album, the first two albums, Organized Confusion, definitely outstanding. Definitely outstanding. I think they definitely represent the underground sound in their own way, coming from New York. They didn't compromise. They didn't change who they were to commercialize what they were doing. Because at that time, man, you had to stay true to who you were. Else you was labeled like a crossover. You're selling out. You're trying to these two commercial and whatever, in the early '90s. So it'd be strange for Organized Confusion to try to compromise their lyrical style, their standards for record sales, compromise their, commitment to what they were about. They were committed. They were dedicated to their craft. Their system of just making good music in an underground kind of way. For Pharaohe Monch was going to be that commercial success, but he's one of the more underrated rappers of all time. Look at his body of work. And Pharaohe Monch is that guy. That's why he's on the list. Underground, lyrical, had great metaphors, great vocabulary, intelligent. He was that guy. He was good. He was sharp. He was the man. One of the best. But he's underrated though. Yes, Pharaohe Monch is underrated. That's no mystery about that. Ain't no surprise. He's that dope. He's that great of an MC. So that's basically it, man. Just want to talk about Pharaohe Monch, one half of Organized Confusion. Prince Poe, he was on part of the group as well. They did their own thing, man. Did their own thing, man. It just gets no better than that. We talk about the early '90s, man. People was coming out with great stuff. That first album in '91, Organized Confusion, that was a great album. Classic. And they made two great albums. Their first two albums great. But they're underrated. They was gonna cross over to commercial success because of what they were about. You know, they were underground. A lot of groups was like that, man. That they couldn't, have that, that crossover success. That's what they stood for. So that's basically it, man. I'll be back at 3 o'clock with another live feed from my book. Until then, talk to you soon.